Okay, so as many of you guys know, Deadpool's Diner is currently going on as of making this video. Oh, Deadpool Diner 2.0. Won't let me mistake that. Well, I personally really just kind of checked out as soon as I got this. Okay, this is the free card that you get for doing Deadpool's Diner. Of course, you can go up above and beyond and get this if you really want. Does it look very cool? I'm not sure if it's worth all the trouble because this time around, I don't know, for whatever reason, I was not feeling Deadpool's Diner at all. In fact, I have a deck that I did use for Deadpool Diner that I will show you guys right now. And surprise, surprise, it is an Arishem deck. Yes, it is indeed an Arishem deck. Arishem Loki, it works very well on the Shadow King. I've actually had people just leave when I Shadow King their Cassandra Nova because Cassandra Nova is the main thing that people play to counter Arishem. So it's funny having Shadow King to counter Cassandra Nova, and then just icing on the cake, Arishem has a chance to give you a second Shadow King. Now, I will say the only potential downside with using this deck is sometimes when you snap 10-1, if your opponent sees you using Arishem, sometimes they will just leave because they're assuming you have Cable, or they're assuming you have Loki, or they're assuming you have too much of an advantage. So they will just leave. But that being said, it slowly gets you up there because the way Deadpool Diner actually works is that when it refills your bubs for you automatically, those do not count. In fact, let's go back into the diner for a moment. When it refills these bubs for you right here, those do not count towards increasing your bub count, as far as I know. But when you win, it does. So as you can see, I only have 5 million here, but I've won 17.39 mil overall. So that lets me just continue on with that. And honestly, that's just how it is. It's not very, it is what it is, honestly. But yeah, if you were sitting around hoping that the refills counted, they don't. So what you want to do is just keep spending your bucks. Again, you can use the Arishem deck. This one right here. There are other decks you can use, but this is probably one of the most fun Arishem decks for Deadpool Diner. Now, that being said, you might also want to consider muting emotes. Okay, just like a fair warning for you guys, because a lot of people do not like Arishem at all, so they will do that like middle finger emote thing a lot. So, yeah, you might want to prepare that. Actually, what's funny is I inadvertently have this emote on. Yeah, it wasn't planned. It's just something I had on by default. So whenever they did that, I would just do the cheeky Deadpool emote if I didn't just mute them all together, which I did sometimes. But yeah, that's my whole quote unquote easy way to beat Deadpool's diner. I say quote unquote because I don't know if it's exactly an easy way. All we can do is try to survive. As you can see, I haven't even got the full max this time around in the Deadpool diner, and I don't know if I'm going to. My main goal was to get him. I don't even know if he's that good on it. Like, I haven't got to play around with him much at all. But hey, he's a free card, okay? And this deck made it so I didn't completely go insane playing Deadpool Diner. So, yeah. I think I am, well, I guess I'll show you what he looks like. Oh, yeah, you can't even see what he looks like there. Okay, well, you know what? I'm going to end it off here. Let me know if you've gotten far in Deadpool Diner. Let me know if you have Arishem or not. If you don't have Arishem, it's going to be a bit more challenging for you, but I mean, I guess you could use something that could cheat out some energy or whatnot, but Arishem definitely the best way to go, in my opinion, because you kind of don't care if you lose, and then if you win, it's good. You snap, there's a fair chance the opponent will just leave in general. Oh, yeah, and I guess I should give you guys the tip. This is a tip for those of you guys that made it to the end of the video, okay? There's a small chance you might run into someone with this avatar on. That in the very first, when they first start playing, the say emotes saying, I'm losing and whatnot. That's a sign that they are throwing the match. So you usually want to snap during those. Now, there might be some quote unquote bad actors who take advantage of this, but for the most part, it's a sign that they are throwing the match. So you definitely want to snap. Then if they do a fist bump after your snap, there's a good chance that you were right. They are throwing the match. I actually had this happen to me once, and that actually earned me enough Bubs to get King Itri. Yeah. So, yeah, definitely let me know your thoughts on this strategy. Comment section below. And what do you think of Deadpool Diner? Like I said, this year, not really feeling it. Maybe next year I'll be feeling it a bit more, but I don't know. It just isn't for it just isn't for me much. It just isn't for me. Like I said, the Arishem deck made it kind of fun at times, but I don't like the grind. Maybe if it was like a permanent thing, like maybe they kept, hear me out. Maybe if they kept Deadpool Diner like a permanent thing, but the cards were permanent, and they just add the cards so you can do it at your own pace. So you don't feel like you have to rush and whatnot. You can just casually be like, oh, you know what? I'm going to grind Deadpool Diner a bit and get this card. Or in like 2 months, you can come back and still grind it. Like maybe add like an arcade mode, put this in like the arcade mode type thing. You know what? I'm getting a bit off the rails with this one. So I'm going to end it off here. And with that said, I will catch you guys in the future. Later.